You know, technology is moving so fast these days, it can feel almost impossible to keep up. So how do you stay on top of your game at work without getting left behind? We're going to break down a whole new way of thinking about professional development, one that happens while you work, not in some separate classroom. All right, let's get into it.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? You're buried in work, you've got a deadline breathing down your neck, but nope, you're stuck in some mandatory training module. You're just clicking next, 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 hoping something in there is actually relevant to your real job. It's such a common frustration, right? It pulls you away from the very work you're supposed to be getting better at.
And look, this right here is the heart of the problem. The pace of change is it's relentless. The skills you bust your butt to master today, yeah, they might be totally obsolete in just a couple of years. So that old model of, sending people to a workshop once a year, it just can't keep up. No way. So what's the alternative?
So let's just put these two approaches side by side. On one hand, you've got traditional training. It's totally separate from your job, it's usually one size fits all, and man, it just eats up your time. But on the other side, you have this idea of in-flow learning. This is where professional development becomes a natural part of your daily grind. It's customized just for you, it's super efficient, and it's right there when you actually need it. And this is where a tool like SkillPulse comes into the picture. It's designed to be the answer to this exact problem. Think of it as an AI-powered learning assistant that brings the training directly to you, right inside the tools you're already using every single day.
Okay, so the key word here is integration. This is so important. SkillPulse actually lives inside your M365 environment. We're talking Teams, Word, Excel, the whole suite. It's not another app you have to go find, another password to remember. Nope, it's built to be this agile, smart partner that's already there, just waiting to help you work and learn at the exact same time.
But how does it actually work, right? Let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside. At its core, SkillPulse is powered by a pretty clever system that uses 3 different connected layers of AI technology.
All right, so this breaks it down really nicely. At the very center, you've got the AI core. You can think of this as the beating heart of the entire system. And that heart powers the next layer, the user experience. That's basically how you interact with it. And all of that interaction, every question you ask, every task you do, it all feeds into the third part, organizational reporting. This is what gives the higher-ups a really clear picture of how skills are developing across the board.
Okay, so layer number 1 is generative AI. Now, this is the part you're probably already pretty familiar with. It's that GPT-style chat interface, where you can ask it questions, get super quick answers, or even get help drafting an email or a document. It's your basic, foundational AI assistant.
Now, building on top of that, you get to the next level, copilots. These are a big step up. They're specialized AI apps designed for really specific and often complex tasks. So imagine you'd need to check if a document is compliant with some new, dense federal regulation. Or maybe you need to generate a piece of code that's super secure. A copilot is like having a specialist right there on your team for that exact thing.
And then you have the top tier, the most advanced layer, agents. These are the real power tools, and here's why. They can work across different programs for you. For example, you could literally tell an agent, hey, find every single document in this project folder and update all the project dates to next Friday. Boom. With one command, it automates all that tedious work you used to hate doing. So when you put all of this powerful tech together, you get what is a true win-win. We're talking huge benefits for the individual employee just trying to get their job done, and at the same time, massive strategic advantages for the entire organization. So for you, the employee, what does this actually mean? Well, it means you're getting help right when you need it, on the exact task you're working on. SkillPulse can actually see what you're doing and suggest training that's relevant in that moment. So no more one-size-fits-all, totally irrelevant workshops. And maybe the best part? It keeps what's called a SkillPulse record, so you finally get real, formal credit for all the learning you're doing on the job.
And what about for the organization? Well, for starters, it helps get past that natural reluctance some people have about using new AI tools, just because it's so helpful and integrated. It obviously boosts productivity across the board, and because it's tracking all these learning trends, leadership can align training directly with their biggest strategic goals. They can finally stop guessing and start making data-driven decisions about developing their workforce.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but does this new way of learning actually work? Is it really better? Well, the data is, it's pretty clear. Just take a look at this number. 250%. Let that sink in. That's how much more effective this kind of embedded in-flow learning is compared to old-school workshops. When learning is right there, in context, when you need it most, the impact is it's massive.
This isn't just a small improvement, it's a total game changer.
So how does a company actually bring this in? It's not like flipping a switch. It's a really thoughtful four-phase process. It starts small, by mapping out employee tasks so the AI can learn the ropes. Then they deploy some proven copilots for common problems. As the system gathers more data and learns, it expands across more and more applications. And then finally, they can roll out custom agents to solve those really unique challenges they discovered along the way. It's a smart rollout that learns and adapts as it goes.
What all of this is really pointing to is a fundamental shift in how we even think about work and learning. They're not two separate things anymore. The whole goal here is to just seamlessly bridge that gap between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it.
And that brings us to the core promise, which I think is captured perfectly in this one idea. SkillPulse shortens the distance between knowing and doing. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To make you more capable, more efficient, and more knowledgeable, moment by moment, as a natural part of your day.
So we'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What if all that friction between learning a new skill and actually applying it just vanished? If learning and working really did become one and the same, what could you and what could your entire team really achieve?